Hello, and welcome to the fourth lesson on angle rules. In this lesson, we're looking at interior angles of polygons. Okay, so let's jump right in. So first of all, what is a polygon? So the word polygon comes from the Greek word, from two Greek words actually. The first meaning poly, which means many, and gon, meaning angle. So the word polygon literally means many angles. Okay, so if we look at this shape here, so we've got a six-sided shape here. And we should all know this shape is called a hexagon. Okay. Now, there's something special about this hexagon. All the sides are the same length. Okay. So we would actually call this shape a regular polygon. Okay. So that's what this bit down here means. The word regular means all the sides are equal. Okay. So this is a regular polygon. And in this case, we've got a hexagon. And if we look at another shape, how many sides does this shape have? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This shape also has 6 sides, so this shape must also be a hexagon. But it looks very different to the first shape, okay? And that's because this shape is an irregular polygon, okay? So if regular means that all the sides and the angles are equal, then irregular means that all the sides and the angles are going to be different sizes, okay? That's why we've got this very funky looking hexagon shape over here, okay? So let's jump into now let's talk about interior and exterior angles. So this lesson is about interior angles, okay? But while we're here, we might as well talk about both of them. So the interior angle in a shape, so you might have heard the word interior before, it means inside. So the interior angle is the angle that is inside the shape, okay? So what I've highlighted here is one interior angle of this pentagon, okay? This five-sided shape, okay? Now the exterior angle, you would be forgiven for thinking that the exterior angle is this whole angle I've drawn in red on the outside, okay? But actually, the exterior angle is if you were to continue the line of the shape out, and then you put an angle between this new line and that shape, that is the exterior angle, okay? But like I said, for this lesson, we're only focusing on the interior angle, okay? So we're going to do the next lesson. So this lesson's nice and easy. It's all about triangles. Okay, so triangles are the most important shape in the world, okay? And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So what do we know about triangles? Well, we know they've got 3 sides, but the most important fact is that the angles inside a triangle add up to 180. So no matter what the angles are, all the angles add up to 180 degrees. Okay? And we would call this the sum of interior angles equals 180 degrees. Okay, so for triangles, the angles all add up to 180 degrees. Another way of saying that is the sum of the interior angles is 180 degrees. Okay, let's have a look at another shape. So here we've got a rectangle, okay? Now, some of you may already know that the sum of interior angles for this shape, so sum of interior angles equals 360 degrees, okay? Some of you may already know that, okay? And that's because if we look at a normal rectangle, we know that it has got 4 right angles. And each right angle is 90 degrees, so 90 plus 90 plus 90 is 360, okay? But this lesson is all about triangles. So we're going to prove this shape has a sum of interior angles of 360 degrees using triangles, okay? So if I was to split this shape up with triangles, and the rule is I have to draw the triangles from one point to another, okay? So I can't draw a line from the center of the line to somewhere else in the center line. It has to go from one point to another point of the shape, okay? So for the rectangle, how many triangles do you think I can make? Well, I can make only 2 triangles, okay? Now, what do we know about the sum of interior angles of normal triangles? Well, they add up to 180 degrees, didn't they? So I know that this triangle in orange, its angles add up to 180 degrees, and I know that this triangle down here, its angles also add up to 180 degrees. What is 180 plus 180? Well, that's 360 degrees. So that's another way of showing that a rectangle has an interior angle of 360 degrees, okay? We can split it into two triangles, and because those triangles each have interior angles of 180 degrees, because there's two of them, 180 times 2 is 360, okay? But does this work with all shapes? So here we go. We've got another pentagon. We've got a five-sided shape here. We've got a pentagon, okay? Now, do we think the rule is going to work with this? I think it's going to work. So let's give it a go. So how many triangles can we split this pentagon up into? Let's pause the video, have a little think. How many triangles can you split this pentagon into? Remember, when you draw your lines, you have to start at one point of the pentagon and you have to join it up to another point, okay? You can't be going, can't start halfway in a line, okay? It has to be from a point to a point, okay? So how many triangles do you think you can draw in this pentagon? Okay, so let's have a look. I've drawn one line, and I've drawn two lines. Okay, and now there's no other lines I can draw now without meeting another line halfway. Okay, so I know now there are three triangles in this shape, and if each of these triangles have an internal angle of 180 degrees, that must mean that the sum of internal angles of a polygon, sum of interior angles of a pentagon, sorry. So we've got three triangles. Each triangle is 180 degrees. So 3 times 180 equals 540 degrees. And this is the sum of interior angles, sum of interior angles of a pentagon. Sum of interior angles of a pentagon. Okay. So this looks like it's going to work for all polygons, okay? So however many, even if it's a regular or irregular pentagon, if you can divide the shape into triangles and you add up how many triangles there are and multiply that number by 180, that will tell you the sum of interior angles of that shape, okay? So let's jump into the main task. So your task for this lesson is to complete this table, okay? So you've got all the shapes on the left. So you've got triangle 1, 2, you've got triangle, quadrilateral, or a square, pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon, nonagon, decagon. These are just the number of sides of the shapes, okay? So what you're going to do, I'm going to do the first three for you, okay? So triangle, how many sides does a triangle have? Well, it has 3 sides. How many triangles are in a triangle? Well, there's only one triangle in a triangle. And so we know the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180. So that means our calculation is going to be 1 times 180. And 1 times 180 equals 180 degrees. Okay? For the quadrilateral, or the square over here, we can see we've got a square shape, and we can draw, if we draw one line, we've got 2 triangles. So this shape has 4 sides. Sorry, start from the beginning. It's got 4 sides. It has 2 triangles. So our calculation will be 2 times 180. And that is equal to 360 degrees. Now for the pentagon, how many sides does a pentagon have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many triangles are in the pentagon? Well, I've already drawn the lines here. I've got 1 line there, 2 lines there. That means we've got 3 triangles. So my calculation is going to be 3 times 180. And that equals 540 degrees. Okay, so the sum of interior angles of a pentagon are 540 degrees, okay? So pause the video and complete the rest of this table, okay? And hopefully, as you complete the table, you should spot there's a nice, easy rule we can use to find the interior angles of polygons. Okay, so pause the video and have a go at completing this table. Okay, so here are the answers. Very well done if you got them all right. And what you should have realized is the quick way to find out the sum of interior angles is you count, it's the number of sides. So number of sides. We take away 2 from that number. So number of sides, we take away 2 from that number, and then we times that by 180, okay? And that is how we calculate sum of interior angles, okay? And that will work with all regular and irregular polygons, okay? You can try it out for yourself. If you want to draw a pentagon with crazy sides, 5 totally different sides, and you draw the number of triangles, you should only be able to draw 3 triangles, okay? So it works for irregular and irregular pentagons, as all polygons, okay? Now let's have a look at the checking question now. So we're asked to find the size of the missing angle x in the pentagon, okay? Now remember, the rule we've just learnt in the lesson now works for any polygon, regular, irregular. It doesn't matter if they're all the same, all the sides and angles are different. You can still draw triangles to find out what is the sum of interior angles, okay? So pause the video, and you need to find what the missing angle in this shape is, okay? Let's pause the video and have a go. Okay, so hopefully you guys are giving it a go. So first thing is, I know this is a pentagon, okay? So what I need to do, I need to calculate the sum of interior angles, okay? So sum of interior angles. How many triangles can I draw in this shape? Well, I could draw one there. I can draw one here. So I have got 1, 2, 3 triangles, okay? So that means my sum of interior angles is going to be 3 times 180, which equals 540 degrees, okay? So I know now that all these numbers have to add up to 540 degrees, okay? So let's go from here. So x plus 100 plus 100 plus 95 plus 125. These all need to add up to 540 degrees, okay? So I've got x plus, well, 100 plus 100 is 200. 95 plus 125 is 220. Just add these two up. This still has to equal to 540, sorry, so we're not quite there yet. So x plus 200 plus 220 is 420 equals 540 degrees. So something plus 420 is equal to 540. And hopefully figure out that x has to be 120 degrees, okay? So very well done if you got that right. And next lesson, we're going to start doing exterior angles, okay? So we'll see you next lesson. Bye now.